Think about that. You're not going to get your mail. A parcel's not going to come to your house anymore. It's going to go down the street. The carrier's not going to go there every day. They're only going to go there maybe every second day.
Welcome back to Closer Look. It's Thursday, the 30th day of October. I'm Scott Sexsmith-Frisco, still off on assignment this evening. I want to thank everyone who watched and commented on last night's show that centered around Premier Doug Ford and U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra. If you missed it, you can still watch it on YouTube. Just search Closer Look Podcast. You can check out closerlookpodcast.ca. And of course, you can find it across the Village Media Network. Okay, to tonight's episode. The future of Canada Post is starting to look a little more clear. Last month, the federal government paved the way for Canada Post to adopt a list of controversial cost-cutting measures, including ending home-to-home delivery and shuttering some rural post office. Joel Lightbound, the federal minister responsible for Canada Post, has said the Crown Corporation is effectively insolvent, losing $10 million a day. Doug Ettinger, the CEO of the Postal Service, later releasing an open letter to Canadians saying, and I quote, "Our goal is to provide an affordable, reliable, and sustainable service to every Canadian, one that lifts our national pride by strengthening our connections to each other." The Canadian Union of Postal Workers responded to the government's big announcement with another strike, which has since been downgraded to a rotating strike. Now, fast forward to this week, Canada Post has confirmed it has laid off dozens of managers in a major cost-cutting move. We also learned that Canada Post and the union plan to meet with a mediator to try and move forward talks that have dragged on now for nearly 2 years. Could a deal finally be reached? Or will we head into another Christmas season with Canada Post labor troubles looming over the holidays? Jim Gallant, a Cup W negotiator, was a recent guest on our podcast just a few weeks ago in a wide-ranging discussion. He talked about the potential pitfalls of ending home-to-home delivery and what it will take for both sides to finally reach a collective agreement. Here is some of that conversation. Jim, remind me as of today, how many workers do you represent?
It's a little over 50,000. It's always a moving target, but we represent probably about 5,000 less than we did just a couple of years ago, and probably about 15,000 less than we did at the peak. As mail volumes come down, obviously a letter carrier can go to more houses. So because you don't get paid to deliver to the house that has no mail. You only get paid to deliver to the ones that you do.
Okay, so of that 50,000, how many do you worry now could lose their jobs after this announcement?
It'd be in the thousands. We're not sure. The government is it's like a scattershot that they made. They say that they're gonna get rid of door-to-door delivery. Then they're gonna maybe go to alternate day delivery. And they're going to extend the standard for a piece of mail to 7 days. So if that all happened in your neighborhood or at your address, think about that. You're not going to get your mail. A parcel's not going to come to your house anymore. It's going to go down the street. The carrier's not going to go there every day. They're only going to go there maybe every second day. And so, it could be half of the delivery people. Now, that's not half the jobs because there's a big staff inside as well, right? So, but it's thousands of jobs if they were to do what they say they want to do and it all came to fruition.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, Jim, about some of the things that you think they should be doing instead of some of the plans they've announced. But let's go through some of these individual things that they've announced and kind of talk about them. The home-to-home delivery has kind of been a political football for a long time. It's been talked about, thrown out there as something that they may or may not do. I think now it's 1 in 4 houses don't get. Is that correct? I mean,
That's what they're claiming. Yes.
yeah. Is that accurate?
Is that true?
But when they do it, they kind of screw around with the numbers. If you're in an apartment building, sometimes that's to the door, and when you're in an apartment building, sometimes your lobby doesn't count to the door. So they always screw around with the numbers a bit. But it probably is that.
And so, but is it time though that maybe we live in a world where home to home delivery isn't necessary anymore?
Well, so if we were to look at every other delivery outfit in Canada, who else delivers down the street?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense? So it's supposed to be a service. It's supposed to be, we're supposed to take care of the elderly and people that can't make it out of their houses. And instead, if you or I want a parcel delivered, I'm going to send Scott a parcel, and Scott's going to send Jim a parcel, and the parcel's not going to go to into his hands, not be attempted to his house. Maybe and maybe it's something that's a little more valuable or whatever. All of a sudden now you've got to use UPS, FedEx, one of those other carriers, and it's for profit, and those profits are going to end up in the United States.
Mm-hmm. But I guess aren't we already there if 75% of people aren't getting it to their door?
Well, no, the thing is that the number somewhat dropped. Like in my city in Halifax, there's cranes everywhere. So where one house or 3 houses used to be, now there's 80 units above it. So those people get their delivery to their lobby, call it to the door. I consider that to the door, that it's in their lobby. They don't have to get wet. They don't have to get cold in the wintertime. That seems reasonable. But now what they want to do is take every neighborhood, and it turns into a political football because the cities don't want it, but Canada Post could force it. All those things happen. You remember Denis Coderre in Montreal with a sledgehammer trying to get rid of the damn things. So that's it really is, and it really is a problem. And Canadians need to be the ones that make this decision, not the people at Canada Post, and be sure that this decision is not Minister Lightbound's decision. Go back to November last year, look at Canada Post's news briefings. It's their Christmas list. This is what we want for Christmas. Bill Kaplan went in there. The government paid him $500,000 to give them a report. They got the report they paid for. It's exactly what Canada Post said it should be. He ignored 900 submissions from Canadians, municipalities, First Nations, small business, medium business. You can go in. They're all public. They're all available publicly. And he ignored them all and sided with Canada Post. He ignored the union too. Called me a few names. I think he didn't call them in the report, but he at the commission he called me names, and we end up there. And Minister Lightbound then says, "Oh well, I'm going to follow Bill Kaplan." Well, he's not following Bill Kaplan. He's following about 20 executives at Canada Post that go, "Boo-hoo, we can't provide the service that Canadians have already talked about and already have. It says that there will be this service," and they go, "Well, we can't provide it." Well, that's bad management.
Mm-hmm. You obviously saw that the CEO of Canada Post issued an open letter to Canadians. It was published in a lot of news. I see you giggling and covering your face. It was published
It's not laughter. It's painful.
Well, let's talk about some of that pain. I mean, basically, the gist of that letter is that I think the word taxpayer is in it 7 times, that we need to stop treating the taxpayer this way, and it's the taxpayer that's footing the bill for what's happening at Canada Post.
Go back to November and see if taxpayer was even there one.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to ask you. So
that's the buzzword.
Yes.
It's always buzzwords, right? So now the government is saying taxpayer, so that and they loaned them $1 billion, and the taxpayers loaned the corporation $1 billion. If we had a collective agreement last December, they wouldn't have needed the loan. If they had put the stamp up the way they have now with that extra 370 plus million, because there would have been even more mail in the system. They are screwing this corporation into the ground, and the only outcome that can be extrapolated down the road, and it doesn't have to happen while I'm alive, but they will screw the corporation into the ground, and private companies will come in. All those companies charge 3 times more than Canada Post does, and people go, "Oh well, are you sure you're not going to lose all these customers in Canada?" Well, we're not going to lose them all because most of them can't afford the other carriers, and if we're not there to keep that, equality, then those companies can charge a lot more. They're only charging 3 times more now, but they could charge 5 times more. What can you do about it? There's nobody to go to like Canada Post to deliver those parcels and deliver that mail.
So I guess the billion-dollar question is, what's the alternative then to what the CEO has laid out in his open letter to Canadians about ending door-to-door mail delivery, about taking out some rural post offices? What's the answer to get this ship back going the right way?
Well, it is a self-adjusting ship. Like I said, like there's about 15,000 less workers delivering the mail than there was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So those things are already happening. But the question gets to be is they admit, even in their quarterly report, that they made an extra $370 million in revenue. They say, "Oh, we lost money." But the reason they lost money was because they won't sign a collective agreement with us. If they had that extra revenue from the year before, they wouldn't be in the trouble that they say they're in. So, they need certain things. The first thing was they needed more revenue, and they have it. We said that we were going to find a way to do straight time weekend delivery for them. We offered that. If those two things come to fruition, and one has, and the other one's sitting there waiting for them in a collective agreement that we've offered them, why do they need all these other things to inflict more pain on the worker?
That's what I was going to ask you. So what are the sticking points? Is weekend delivery the big thing you're offering to do? Weekend delivery?
They see it the way that they it's back and forth, and it's always a story where they go, "Oh well, you're trying to represent people that don't work here yet." Because we're trying to up the minimum rates of wages and stuff. But they go, "Oh, we have these people that are teachers and students that just want to work Saturdays and Sundays to deliver parcels." And we're like, maybe me as a letter carrier in Halifax, I'm getting later on in my career. Maybe I want to deliver parcels on a Saturday and a Sunday, and I want to take it a little easier where I don't have to deliver those Monday volumes. Maybe that's my day off. And they won't hear of it. It's all part-time, and that causes all kinds of problems. It means that that the next generation's not going to have what we had, and that seems to be the theme in Canada. We're trying to make sure that it doesn't turn into a gig economy. That
seems to be the idea. Is the CEO says letter to be a leaner, meaner machine that can be more flexible, and that seems to speak to that we want to be more like that gig economy we've seen.
I can tell you they can't be any meaner. That's the first thing that I'd tell you, because these people are assholes from sun up to sundown. I hope you're still not, the CRTC still not bothering you guys, right?
No, we're good.
No.
Yeah.
They did call us after your last interview, but we talked them off the ledge.
I mean, there's a swear jar, Jim, for the beer fund, but other than that, you're good to go.
They really, they go out of their way to screw with workers every day. There's tens of thousands of grievances in the system. When we have something, if I go, Scott should be doing that, not me, and Scott should get paid for that, they go, shut up and grieve it. Do it now and grieve it later. So then Scott doesn't get paid for it. I'm forced to do it. I get paid, and then Scott grieves it and Scott gets paid. We're telling them ahead of time, don't do those things. But management continues to do all these crazy, stupid things, and it's costing them a ton of money, and it leads to the position that they want it to be in today, October the 2nd, 2025. They want the cupboard to be empty, and they want to crush a union and gut a collective agreement.
So, Jim, as we move forward now, what's the top priority from the union's perspective? I would assume it's job protection.
Well, the most important thing right now is to get a collective agreement that's ratifiable by the membership, which means there needs to be raises, there needs to be job protection, there needs to be, health and safety concerns dealt with. All those things are there. So the collective agreement's the most important thing. And then this second thing, like I said earlier, is the government interfering and trying to cut the service to where basically they're blowing up the post office.
That's all for a Closer Look on this Thursday. Follow us on social media. Subscribe for free to our newsletter at closerlookpodcast.ca. And of course, you can reach us anytime at closerlook@villagemedia.ca. Tonight's show was produced by Derek Turner for all of us at Closer Look. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.